Escape from New York, directed by John Carpenter, starring Kurt Russell and Eli Wallach. It's a mix of 1980s machismo-fueled action film and a science fiction flick romancing with cyberpunk aesthetics. The story takes place in the far future, the year 1997, with the massive increase of crime in the US after the fallout of yet another world war. The entire island of Manhattan has been turned into a high security prison. It's walled off and guarded, the bridges are secured with explosives, and once you go in, you cannot go out. Inside, though, there are no guards and no rules, basically. The prisoners are left to their own devices. So the prison functions as its own microcosm, with various gangs running the place. At the beginning of the film, we see former Black Ops soldier Snake Plissken being processed before his sentence in the prison. However, before he is sent in, a plane carrying the President of the US crashes in Manhattan. The police forces are unable to extract the VIP and they're left with only one option. They give Snake a gun and send him in with a 24-hour timer. If he manages to locate the president and get him out in time, he saves his life, he gets a full pardon for his crimes. So that description should give you a pretty solid mental image of what the film is like. It's very typical of the 1980s cinema, with the muscular tough guy reluctantly saving the day against all odds while cracking one-liners. However, this one does a few things quite well. First off, it doesn't treat itself very seriously and manages to be this fun romp with a great cast of diverse characters. The glue that holds it all together is of course Snake Plissken, who to this day is Kurt Russell's favorite movie role ever. But he is in the one-man army, surprisingly. There are other people in the story that are crucial to the mission's success. Second, the movie, like many other Carpenter films, manages to do a lot on a low budget. The aesthetic of a ruined, rundown New York is pretty damn atmospheric, and the film has been cited as an influence on many other works of art. Just to quote a few, William Gibson has said that the world of his classic cyberpunk trilogy, Neuromancer, has been partly inspired by Escape from New York. The character of Solid Snake from the Metal Gear Solid series, a video game series, has been modeled on Snake Plissken, and perhaps most directly, some of the models used in this film for New York have later been painted and reused as Los Angeles in Blade Runner. And yeah, sure, in some respects the movie has gotten a bit old, but I think even with the passage of time, it still works even without taking into consideration, that baggage of its importance and impact on the genre. It just holds up as an entertaining adventure set in a well-crafted world. And as a final point, it has an absolutely fantastic ending that made me grin from ear to ear. I couldn't help but feel pretty satisfied with the film afterwards. A classic to be sure.